What is up, everybody, and welcome to Best Ball Live, brought to you by DraftKings. I'm your host, Connor Allen from 4-4. Joining me today, an old friend, former colleague, Derek Brown, also known as D-Bro from FantasyPros and Betting Pros. What's up, man? How's life been since we last hung out? I think it was NFL Combine, right?
Yeah, NFL Combine, man. I'm doing good, dude. I mean, I'm much like every other content creator in the space right now. Summer, we're switching over to. We've gotten out of the NFL draft and betting and stuff. Having you and Ryan on during the NFL draft process was a treat, dude. Just getting a chance to catch up there and at Combine, and now we've switched over. It's redraft starting to heat up. Best ball is starting to heat up. Everybody out there that's a content creator and they're living the double life of trying to work and also having kids at home. I'm living dad life right now with my painted nails. It's a good time to be alive, Connor. Sun's out, fun's out, man.
I love it. Yeah. And it's a nice time to hop in the best ball streets. It's like plenty of people are playing on other platforms. We're playing on DraftKings today. We're going to do a live DraftKings best ball team in their massive contest, $15 million in prizes, $2 million to first place. Derek, anything we win, we're splitting. So get ready for a cool milli to hit the bank account, at the end of the year. But yeah, let me load up a draft here. It's $20 to enter. And I mean, we're just going to kind of, ride with the flow here on what that looks like and see what pick we get.
I'm loving it, man. And go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, I was gonna say, any preferences to like back half of the draft, front half of the draft right now? I know you said you just started kind of getting draft season, because I kind of like the front, but like you can build some pretty sweet teams from the back half of the draft if you pick correctly with like this wide receiver group here.
To me, my biggest thing is I just want variance. Do you feel like every best ball year and you might not experience this, but I know a lot of us that draft more volume and stuff do, where you feel like you're getting the same freaking pick like a lot of different times, like, golly, like, can I stop getting the third pick? So for me, like, I think in a vacuum, and looking just at the 100-foot view of DK ADP, like I like the back half of the first round a little bit more than the front and how it kind of lines up with stacks and things like that. But just in general, I just want to get variance, man. Like, I don't want to get where I feel like I log into DraftKings every single time and I'm like, oh, great, here's another one with a 6th pick. Okay, similar build, because you want to get exposure across especially these first 2 rounds of a lot of different players in the portfolio.
Yep, and I think that'll play into some of our strategies as well, throughout the draft here today. One of, my favorite things, especially early, I mean, we're recording here June 3rd. Lean into some variance. Don't be afraid to take some volatile players. If we get we're going to get some preseason training camp reports. They're going to send these guys ADPs shooting through the moon. So don't be afraid to, take a couple of big swings here. And then 2, just while we're waiting for this to fill here, some key differences, between DraftKings and other sites. So it's full PPR. You start 3 wide receivers in a flex, 2 running backs, quarterback, tight end. But the 3 wide receivers in a flex is big, along with the full PPR. It's also 20 rounds, not 18. So it looks like we have the 6th pick here. And let me see if I can maybe zoom out a little bit and try and get us even better look at the yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So 6th pick, I mean, CeeDee Lamb looks great there. I know we talked about pre-show going wide receiver heavy early. I think that would be my preferred pick, but it's tough to argue against one of Bijan, Gibbs. I'm not super on Genti at 7, but curious your thoughts of this little range here.
Yeah, for me, the standout players would be CD and Bijan. Like a Bijan falls, I feel like he's an auto pick there. Just getting exposure, him falling a few picks. But CeeDee Lamb, man, I mean, I think like just the acquisition of George Pickens kind of changed my entire outlook on the Dallas Cowboys passing offense. I bumped Dak Prescott up a ton of freaking spots. I think he's like my QB 13 right now. So where he's going in drafts is just money investing into that passing attack. I mean, that entire passing attack is just left for dead outside of CeeDee Lamb. So definitely love the call on Lamb. If it's not Lamb, like if we get sniped, then yeah, Bijan, if he fell. The other guy that stands out to me here is Puka Nacua. The Rams offense is just, I mean, outside of Kyron Williams, I mean, we're getting, really outside of Kyron and outside of Puka, you're just getting tons of value on this offense. Like Stafford, I still think, like, I mean, dude, we lived in a world last year, just kind of going off on a tangent about the Rams real fast. Yeah, we lived in a world last year where before Stafford fell off for the final like 3 weeks of the season, he was a top 12 fantasy quarterback. I think it was like weeks 8 through 14. No matter what metric you pull up, whether it's fantasy points per game, every other single per drop at metric, Stafford was producing as a top 12 fantasy quarterback. So you're telling me Tyler Higbee is going to be healthy, Terrence Ferguson's been added to this offense, and Puka Nacua is healthy? Like, dude, Stafford, I think he's one of my dark horse guys that's a QB1 this year.
Yeah, and he's going in like the QB 20 something range.
Crazy, dude.
And I mean, also too, when you factor in those stats, like Cooper Kupp, I think is washed. We can get into the whole. I tweeted out a thread yesterday about like cooked or not cooked, and we can go through that list later. But I think he was a little washed. Puka was banged up. Higbee was out all season, so like he was throwing to like some of his like 4th, 5th string receivers that were playing were just not good. These are guys who should be 3rd string or 4th string or 5th, maybe not even on rosters, and they were like the 1st and 2nd options. So definitely don't want to see too much of that. All right, so we have. I mean, looks like we're in a regular spot here. Oh, CD went. So we're looking at probably
CD went.
Bijan, Gibbs. I mean, we could also go Amon-Ra or Puka, or I mean, I don't know amongst those 4 here. Bijan's still on the board. I think we got to go Bijan.
Yeah, let's go Bijan. Getting him to fall just 2 picks past, I'm totally fine with that, man. And the other part about this is Bijan Robinson is my RB1 this year over Saquon Barkley. Yes, and I think, and I don't want people to get this twisted, Connor, but tell me if you think differently than this. It is a war of attrition at running back every single year. You go to the top finishes of every running back every single year, and it's every year that name changes every single year. So like, to me, and I preach this every year, but every time you tweet this out that somebody besides the chalk pick for RB1 is your RB1, everybody's like, you just doing it for clicks. Okay, fine. Like, look back over the last 12 freaking years, 15 years of fantasy. It is a laundry list of dudes that have been the RB1 every single year. You are getting more EV, and it is a smarter bet to expect an RB1, a new RB1 to step forward every single year than to expect the same thing we saw last year to happen again this year.
No, I don't hate it at all. I mean, it's been a consistent trend, like you said. I think it's a lot of it's too. It's just like so hard. Like Saquon saw insane volume. The Eagles ran into like one of the easiest schedules. Their defense played at like a top 2-3 level. Now on paper, a lot of that looks like it's going to stay the same, but things change. If like a couple injuries happen here or there on the defensive side, and they're throwing more, like things can change. I don't know. I'm not saying I personally am not taking Bijan over Saquon necessarily, but in this draft, I'm probably taking Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, maybe even CeeDee Lamb over Saquon because I like the wide receiver heavy start.
Well, we got to bury the lead too, Connor. I mean, the Madden curse. We going to throw into the. You thinking of that? Like, I mean, I'm making jokes, but I mean, seriously, like the variance happens every single year. Whether you want to talk about, okay, the Eagles are going to throw more than having the fewest passing attempts in the freaking league last year. So whether that changes, whether the red zone changes, all of this stuff, and we're on the clock, right?
We are 1 away, and we can look at Ladd McConkey, Drake London, AJ Brown. Now we already have Bijan, so
I'm going. London went. That was my pick. Let's go Ladd.
Perfect. Yeah, I know. I've seen Hayden Winks and the Underdog Crew talking up Ladd a lot. I mean, he's just an awesome player. He separates so well. He's like the security blanket. Plus, he showed last year that he can get open downfield. Then you add in, the rookie wide receiver that they drafted. I think is a perfect complement, like to open the field up even. Yeah, Trey Harris to even open up the field even more for him. Like in the middle. Like I just think it's such a massive situation for McConkey to eat like 160, 180 targets this year and just rack up catches. At full PPR, I think this is a great pick in the mid to late second.
I mean, the other thing about it, dude, what if I told you that we have the narrative wrong about the Chargers, that everybody believes and expects, and I'm not telling you that like that can't happen, but everybody is expecting that they will be run heavy. And I'm not telling you that they will not run the ball. They're going to run the ball. But this is also an offense we're talking about after week 7 last year, Connor. The Bolts were 11th in neutral passing rate and 7th in pass rate over expectation. And yes, you can tie that to, the health of their backfield. You can also tie that back to, the health of Justin Herbert. Because if everybody doesn't just conveniently forget, he entered the year hurt. So some of those early just ridiculous rushing rates we saw were also a way to protect him with less dropbacks per game. So what if we get it, Connor? What if we get a Chargers offense that is top 14? I'll even like to go outside the top. That is top 14 in passing volume this year with Trey Harris and Lad McConkey. Yeah, dude's got like 150, 160 target ceiling. And dude, Trey Harris is cheap. He is basically free in drafts. So I mean, like this is an easy spot. Like if you wanted to even go like we want to build.
I love it. We're on the clock. I'll finish your answer. We're at 12 seconds here. Garrett Wilson, Rashee Rice, or Devontae Adams?
Adams.
All right, done. All right, perfect.
Adams is my wide receiver 10, by the way. No, you're good. You're good. No, all good, man. So, like, Lad, I'm totally in. Like, I see the range of outcomes. Like, he can get into that 150, 160 target ceiling. I'm totally in on Herbert, Trey Harris. I'm actually fading the backfield, considering we didn't even talk about yet. Amarion Hampton in this ADP at RB16 is just ludicrous to me. Like, I'm not a Najee Harris stan.
Yeah.
But you're basically, like, the ADP is saying that Najee Harris doesn't even exist. He's a ghost. He's an apparition. He's been cut. And that's just not the reality here. So, I see a lot more runouts for the Chargers to be a lot more pass heavy than a lot of other people do. And getting back to the Rams, dude, like Adams and I mean, dude, like there's so many, like, I feel like, do you feel like when you're looking at this ADP right now that there's a lot of ageism happening here? Like Mike Evans sitting at wide receiver 20, who I think just went. Like, if he's healthy, that's free money. That's ridiculous ADP.
Oh yeah, I think there's a lot of values because of it. Yeah. I like Adam. I like all those guys we highlighted. This range here, I really like JSN, Adams, Rice. I think you can make a case for Garrett Wilson. Not super in on Tyreek Hill, but things can change throughout the preseason. We'll see. Mike Evans, I think, is a great pick. So yeah, there's like this range of wide receivers I really like. We talked about it pre-show, but because you can start 3 wide receivers and a flex, we like going wide receiver heavy early. I think we're probably going to end up with like 7, 8, or 9 wide receivers total. And so now we're kind of in like a hero RB build right here with Bijan as our anchor, and then Lad and Devontae through 3 rounds. Now we're almost on the clock again here. This is where the range gets a little bit dicey. We're looking at Jaden Daniels, Xavier Worthy, like Joe Mixon, Joe Burrow, Omarion Hampton. Like you said, ADP is too high. I almost am inclined to scroll further down the board.
At wide receiver 24 is like, I mean, we know he's going to produce there. Like that's crazy sauce to me. Are we? How many picks away are we?
We're like 1 pick away. So
okay, there is one guy that is screaming at me, and I don't know if anybody is in here because I don't want to get a snipe. But there is one guy, like as soon as we're on the clock, I'm immediately going to tell you to take him.
All right. Perfect.
And I'm hoping that we get him.
But we got Watson 1244. Jaden Daniels went. Okay, who's
George
your guy?
Kittle, baby. All George Kittle.
Right.
Dude, his ADP is laughable right now. The fact that there's that big of a difference between him, McBride, and Bowers is honestly crazy to me. Like all the 49ers offense is undervalued right now.
I totally agree. Easiest schedule in the league. They were just like super injured last year. They're favored in so many games. Like I think everything that we saw last year, you kind of almost need to like throw out the window a little bit and like just refocus on Kittle and this offense being an awesome producing unit again. Like I'm buying some McCaffrey. I think there's plenty of downside risk with McCaffrey, but I think the upside is like legit RB1 overall. Plus if he's healthy. So,
well, dude, George Kittle was the tight end 1 in fantasy points per game last year. Like, why the hell was he even being drafted as? Like, I have him ranked as the tight end 3, but you can make a case that not only is there a ridiculous value discrepancy between him and the other 2 guys at the top, but like, if anybody were to tell me I have George Kittle ranked as the tight end 1, like I wouldn't hate that. Out of all the positions, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, the one that you actually see the most, the stickiest one to repeat as the tight end 1 overall is tight end. Like that, out of all the positions, that's the stickiest one. We've seen it year over year, man.
Yep. No, 100%. I think Kittle's a great pick here. Now we're on the clock. RJ Harvey is still there.
Harvey, baby. Let's go. I know you're part of the Harvey coalition, aren't you?
Absolutely. I mean, to me, I don't understand the discourse really about other people getting like Audric Estimate was a healthy scratch in the playoffs. Jaleel McLaughlin's good for maybe, I don't know, 5-7 touches a game. Like Tyler Bidet is coming off a broken neck and was a nobody for his entire career until like a game and a half. And then they drafted a guy that now they're saying can be used in all phases of the game. Like, like he's going to see a ton of work in a good offense. I don't get it. He's like a whatever RB. We got him like a mid 5th round. Like I think he should be like a mid 4th rounder, honestly. And I bet
I agree.
Season's close. He'll be like a late 3rd, early 4th round pick.
And he should be. That's the other part. It's like people are saying they're fighting the steam and they're saying, oh, he shouldn't go higher and blah, blah. I feel like all that is people just fighting their bias. Like where they're saying, I didn't have him ranked high enough pre-draft. It surprised me that he went as high as he did in the NFL draft. And now that I got to push back against it because I wasn't in on him as a prospect. And that's why I think it's laughable. Like we're going to talk about Audric Estime, who couldn't, and Sean Payton comes out with these comments and he's like, well, it's an incomplete grade. He didn't get enough volume. Dude, you were the guy deciding who went out there and played on every single snap. So you're telling me the incomplete grade? Okay. You were responsible for that. The ghost to Javonte Williams last year. And we really are worried about Jaleel McLaughlin and Audric Estime having consistent roles and eating into RJ Harvey's upside and his workload when they couldn't do it last year with a lesser player and a team invested not 4th or 5th round capital into a running back, 2nd round capital. And we're worried about that. People are actually worried about that. Okay. I love early drafts.
Right. Exactly. Like I think he's going to steam up a ton. Again, a perfect example. We're going to get some training camp reports. And it's going to be like RJ Harvey looks awesome and he's being used on every single down. And people are going to be like, wait, why are we not drafting this guy in like the 3rd round? And like, he's going to get shot up there. So
and Peyton's already come out and said like the pass pro stuff because that's the only thing that people want to glom onto. Peyton has already come out and addressed that and said, look, like there are ways that we can minimize even staying like. Do we want him in for pass pro or do we want him out there running routes? I'll take the routes and targets. Thank you.
Yep. Oh, look at this. We're on the clock. All right. Travion Henderson, Chris Godwin, Jerry Jeudy, Addison, Odunze, Jacoby Myers. Like, I don't have too strong of a take here if you have any thoughts.
I feel like for the volume, Jeudy is underpriced, man. It's a quarterback situation. Like, Jeudy and Njoku are underpriced. They're still going to get a ton of targets. He's still the clear one in that offense. And if we get just somewhat like, can we not say this, Connor, that Joe Flacco is basically the dollar store version of Jameis Winston as far as fantasy production? Like if he is the quarterback, we know that he's going to grip it and rip it and throw it down the field.
The weeks where Jameis and Flacco were starting were just awesome weeks because all the player props were valued way too low because they weren't like, you couldn't possibly fathom these guys just how much they're throwing the ball.
Also, Flacco at bare minimum at DFS, baby. I remember it.
So good. I mean, I think that a lot of these Browns pass rushers could be wildly underrated, especially if Flacco wins a job outright. If any of Gabriel, Shadur, Pickett step up and are like good enough to beat him, like I mean, they just need somewhat competent quarterback play that isn't DTR or Deshaun Watson. And like these Browns pass catchers can be. I mean, Jeudy has no competition. It's just like him and Njoku. That's basically it.
Yeah, I mean, you got Tillman and you got Deontay Johnson there. And if anything, those two guys hopefully help just field a more efficient offense. But they're not high-end target earners. Like, I mean, Tillman, everybody wants to point to like a 2 or 3 game sample. And it's like, I mean, people love to talk about, oh, that's a small, it's cherry-picking stats. Yeah. I mean, that's, it's really rough to like fully expand a 3 game sample for a player.
Totally. All right, we are 2 picks away. It looks like. Mahomes ADP 70,
Caleb.
But now, like
Caleb.
We're at 78, 79. I'm not quite there. We don't have any Chiefs. So I would probably go with Rome or, I don't know, honestly. Like there's a lot of other, like.
I like Caleb Johnson here, and then we just punt running back for a while.
All right, Caleb Johnson. Let's go with Caleb. Give me the spiel on Caleb Johnson. What do you like about him specifically?
Najee Harris got 299 touches last year. Jaylen Warren, we know his role. Like he's going to be in the same consistent role that he's been in for the last few years. If Caleb Johnson can be Najee Harris plus and actually unearth explosive plays, which that's basically all he freaking did in college, then we're talking about a player that's being drafted where he's being drafted. And the floor is probably 250 touches and the ceiling is 300 touches. And as soon as they trade for Kirk Cousins, sign Aaron Rodgers, do anything else at quarterback outside of Big Face Mace, they're going to. I mean, his ADP is going to go up.
I actually think that that's a reason also to buy DK Metcalf right now as well, because I think that they're going to sign Rodgers. Like
don't disagree.
I mean, you're getting him like mid-fifth, especially in best ball. Like he's going to have some games that are just like some sick games. Redraft, I don't know, maybe you might get stuck holding the bag on a couple of, 2 or 3 balls there. But I mean, some DK Metcalf, there's going to be some 100-yard, 2-touchdown games for sure, especially if they sign Rodgers. So I think he's a good buying opportunity. Caleb Johnson, yeah, I mean, that makes a ton of sense. So we have 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, super balanced right now, which, I mean, we're in a good spot.
I wasn't expecting this, but the board's just kind of playing it out. So we're just taking the values.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can ask for. I don't remember who it was. It was someone, maybe it was like Sigmund Bloom or someone saying like, the middle of the draft's the best because you just get to like take the values that the people at the ends just like leave, or because I mean, even when I draft the ends, I usually reach for guys that I like just because I know I can't have no chance to get them. So it kind of leaves some values, in the middle. And I think that's where we're at right now. We're kind of scooping those up.
I also love the fact of how we're building too. Like we have so many outs for late quarterbacks.
Oh,
like the stacking options that like it leaves the whole entire board kind of open. Just looking at the board right now, pull up wide receivers. Like I don't want to reach for a wide receiver here, but
wide receivers getting pretty barren. Downs just went, and we are now on the clock. So it's interesting. Wide receivers going earlier and earlier, especially in this draft.
I know we're going to get the reach. Go back to wide receiver. Like I am fine. So I would actually like to take Jaden Higgins here, and if we can get Trey Harris to come back to us, that would be great, and build out a Charger stack.
All right, let's do it. Why not?
How are we looking on bye weeks too? Because that's the other thing I haven't kind of looked. Oh, we're fine.
We're totally fine.
We got lots of variants. We're gravy.
And then Trey Harris, and then I mean, it looks like we should be able to get Herbert on the fall. I mean, quarterbacks are falling there. So we should be able to go
that tier of pocket passer guys, man. Like we got all kinds of options there. And I just look at so kind of going back to again, Jaden Higgins. Connor, you lived in this same world. You're old enough to remember this as well as me, where last draft year we paid up for every Houston Texans wide receiver named Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs. All those guys were top 30, top 36, all around there. But this year, everybody except for Nico Collins is basically being left for dead in drafts. Like, can you help me make sense out of that? Like, why?
It's a great buy low opportunity, I think. Like you said, like it's the Texans. I mean, Stroud is now just like sent to the shadow realm after a bad year. But he was, everything that anyone wanted. And last year, and all of his weapons, like you said, were going I think they were all top 50, 60, 70 picks in redraft leagues, between Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, and Nico Collins. Nico's obviously the one who panned out. I think Higgins, and then they took another rookie as well, who, I mean, I think they could all pop off potentially. So,
yeah, dude, I'm totally here for it. Now, how are you feeling about the team build so far with this?
Oh, it's great. I think, we're balanced. We're skewing a little bit wide receiver heavy here. If we can land Harris and then Herbert on the follow through there, then we have a Charger stack. We have 5 wide receivers, 3 running backs. These are good enough running backs to kind of just take a couple of flyers. I think after this, we only need 5 or 6 total in the whole draft.
Yeah. I was going to ask you in the 20 round, is the missionary build the 3-6-8-3? Is that the missionary build for because you
that 3-6-8-3 is the missionary build, as you said. That's funny. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. All right, do you want to take Trey Harris? I mean, we can look at anything else stand out here? I mean, it's other than that, it's like
it's Trey Harris. Take Trey Harris, and then with all the quarterbacks above him, we should get Herbert unless somebody does something stupid to come back to us.
I do like Evan Ingram this year. If we didn't have Kittle, I do think that he's like a good target for
me. He is a screaming value. If we didn't already have Kittle fall to us, Evan Ingram was going to be the tight end that I was going to give a love letter on, man. He's got top 3 upside.
Yeah, a lot of my drafts, what I've been doing is like waiting on tight end until like right here and then just double tapping. So I've been going like Ingram, and then, I don't know, I've taken Loveland, I've taken Andrews, like other guys. Like I feel really good about Ingram, and I think that there's a lot of downside with Andrews, a lot of downside with Loveland, but there's also some upside if things pan out. So like I like pairing them because I think Ingram's going to be pretty steady, and then those other guys have just like pretty high upside.
So, can I tell you my favorite late round tight end? The last
Let's
guy
hear
that
it.
I'm putting on as like tight end
Yeah.
2, tight end 3 in all my squads. I wasn't in on him as a prospect, dude. Tell me how Mason Taylor isn't like the dollar store version of Sam Laporta this year. He is literally the wide receiver 2 for the Jets. If we project, and I ran the numbers the other day, it's like even if you project the Jets to throw with the 5th lowest attempt, so put him at 500 attempts.
Yeah.
If he gets a 17% target share in this offense, that would be above 80 targets, and he's sniffing around top 12 for targets for tight ends. Like he is the guy that I will be massively overweight for tight end, like through best ball, through redraft, all of it.
What pick was he taking with in the 30s, right? Or was it later than that?
It was in the 2nd round. Here, I'll look it up.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I mean, the draft capital was good, I remember. And so
Have
I don't know.
you gravitated to any Mason Taylor? What are your thoughts on him?
No, I like him just because I mean he was a good prospect. There was some talk about it before the draft of him potentially being like a first round pick.
42 if my math is right here. So
Yeah,
210.
yeah. I mean that's great draft capital for a tight end. Like you said, very similar to what was Sam Laporta was like 35 or 36 something like that. It was like like similar range. Now I'm definitely a little scared of Justin Fields. Literally right as he goes, by the way. Speaking of the devil.
You're old enough to remember when he supported DJ Moore to a top 10 season and Cole Kmet was a top 12 tight end, right?
Right. Oh yeah, and that's why that there's still hope here. And the other options are, I mean, awful. Like it's just Garrett Wilson and
Malachi Corley, Arian Smith, Josh
nothing.
Reynolds, Allen Lazard. Like we're worried about those guys drawing. Like none of those guys have the talent to draw a 20% target share. Somebody's got to sit there and stand up next to Garrett Wilson. I think it's going to be a tight end.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, that could make a ton of sense, especially like a late season, a little breakout there. All right. Well, hoping that let's see here. There's Dak, and then there's a little mini quarterback run here. So we're hoping to land, Herbert. That would be nice, but we'll see.
Herbert would be nice. And then like if we could get I'd have to look at bye weeks here. What are the bye weeks for the quarterbacks? Who could just make sure we're not stepping on our own toes here with Herbert.
Yeah, 12, and then I mean, look, it's like Ibuka went.
Like at Herbert, Stroud, or somebody like that.
Right. Yeah. There's Stroud. There's
then we could even wait later for Stafford in the 140s. Take him in the 130s or something like that.
Yeah, that's always a good option. Yeah, because we have Adams. Obviously, that would be great. I have not been drafting any of the Cleveland quarterbacks just because that's like
same. I think it's gonna because you're gonna see 2 guys at least, maybe 3 get multiple starts this year. So I think it's just gonna be a cluster. You get your exposure to them through the wide receivers and Njoku and stuff.
I'm gonna take Herbert for us. That way we can lock that in.
Let's go.
Perfect.
Perfect, dude. Right. Perfect.
I mean, that's money. That's a great start. Now we're at 1 quarterback, 3 running backs, 5 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Again, we have an elite tight end. We have 3 very strong running backs, so I feel comfortable there. And then multiple good wide receivers with some other ones. We got Jaden Higgins and Trey Harris sprinkled in that I think have upside. Not necessarily high floor, but it's best ball, so you don't really need that. So where do we want to go from here? Again, I really think that we can play best player available. I saw you tweet about Javonte Williams the other day. I also tweeted out a list of maybe washed players. He was not on my cooked list. He was on my maybe cooked list, but I don't know. That's kind of why I put him there, was because he looked really bad sometimes last year, but he also looked fine. And when you adjust for situation, it wasn't really fully sure. So give me the Javonte Williams spiel, and if you've had any adjustments in the last 2 weeks or so.
So I've come up on him because when I got more granular and I looked at it on a week by week basis, because if you look at his overall season, the numbers were terrible. They were horrible, like in every single facet. But if you look just by the weeks, man, it's weeks 1 through 8, Javonte Williams amongst 43 qualifying running backs, he was actually 13th best in missed tackle rate. So we saw some juice from Javonte Williams, and then it was like once the volume kind of piled up, he hit a freaking wall. Like Connor, after week 8, he didn't force a single missed tackle for the rest of the damn season, man. So it's like, which version of Javonte do you think we get another year past the injury? And it's like, if he comes back and he's the guy we saw weeks 1 through 8, we could actually be getting this year's J.K. Dobbins, and we could all be wrong about it. So, like, I've come up on Javonte, and the other thing about it's like, it doesn't take much to be above consensus on Javonte.
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting here, pick 126, and he's on the clock. His ADP is 112. I mean, I have no problem taking it at this point.
Fine
Like,
with it. Take him.
I don't love him, but at the same time, like, he's gonna have the first crack at seeing starting work. Like, he's our RB4, and like, he could easily have a couple of weeks and pop, and that's all you need. Like,
well, and he's just a bridge guy, because if we take like one or two more guys late, like late stabs, because we're at what, 4 running backs, so we take like two last round rookies and stuff like that. He's the bridge to maybe one or both of those guys popping off. So really, that's all you're asking him to be. If he's more than that, then it's Yahtzee.
Totally. No, I totally agree there. I know we've been straight firing for 30 minutes here. Any early like flag plants, like anyone that June 3rd, you're like, man, I want this guy in every draft. It can be, any player.
At the quarterback position, it's JJ McCarthy.
Okay.
I want to take him every single place. We just lived in a world where Sam Darnold, that's Sam freaking Darnold, was a top 10 fantasy quarterback. What do we think JJ is going to do this year? I could easily, we already talked about the love list for RJ Harvey. One of the guys that I'm trying to get in every draft that I possibly can, I'm going down the list here. And this is also just kind of diving into, just underrated offenses. Dude, I want to draft, and I know he's hurt right now, but I want to draft Ricky Pearsall as much as I can. Like, it's leaning into undervalued 49ers offense, them bouncing back. I mean, so I think Pearsall is definitely going to be a flag plant guy. And if we just want to live it in the time capsule of just right now, and I know we didn't get him in this draft, dude, Jalen Waddle, like if say like they do actually trade Jonnu somewhere, Tyreek gets cut, gets traded, whatever, or Tyreek pulls an AB and just pulls his jersey off of them at halftime by week 5. Jalen Waddle like is a screaming value, and any one of those dominoes falls, or Tyreek Hill, just another year older, takes another step back. Jalen Waddle, we're drafting at probably like below his floor.
Yeah, I love this 1-2 turn here from Bub Rub at the end. DK Metcalf Waddle is just, I mean, absolute fireworks there in the 5th, 6th turn. I think that's awesome.
If we can get Stroud to fall to us, that would be fantastic. Like get a Stroud and Kirk.
Yeah, Stroud. I think Kirk might have gone. Did he go already?
He's right at the top of the board. He's right at the top of the board, right below. Yeah, he's third below. And even if we missed out on Kirk, if we could get Stroud, taking Jalen Nolan and one of the final rounds is still on the board, man. I mean, there is the easy path. Plus, we have Stafford. I'd love to lock up QB2 here.
Yep. I think that
2 outs.
Another guy that I've been looking at when I was here, we don't necessarily need him for this build, is Kyle Williams. I like a lot too. But for this draft, I think it makes more sense. Stroud or Stafford. Who do you want to go with?
We're on the board. Yeah, let's go Stroud, because I like the outs that we have, and plus like having it. Do you ever do this in some of your best ball drafts, like kind of like double tapping the ceiling players, so like the wide receiver 3s? If there's like, we've done this in previous years with like the Steelers guys and we didn't know who it was, and other players like, so like if you were to take Kirk and Noel at their respective ADPs, and all you're saying is between those two guys and injuries and stuff, I get like 5 or 6 spike weeks, then both of them pay off at their ADP and we're cooking.
I love that. I've been doing a lot with like the last round picks. There's a super, well, not super sneaky, but sneakier stack that I've been doing, which has been Rodgers, like Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson. Like,
same idea. Yeah, you're garnering the spike weeks out of the offense.
Yeah. 18th, 19th, 20th round. Like, he's like, Roman Wilson's not even drafted in most drafts. All right, we're about to be on the clock here again. We probably don't need Stafford at this point. We already have 2 QBs. No. This is a tough range. I don't mind Thielen. I don't mind Hollywood. They're not my favorites.
Looking at correlations.
What about QJ? I mean, I don't love QJ. I think he stinks, but the Chargers don't seem to think so. I mean, he played him plenty last year. Leggett, I think, is fine. Oh, I think someone just took QJ. So you know what? If you're stream sniping, you suck. But Any takes here? Honestly, I think we're really well balanced. I would lean wide receiver, but fine with whatever.
Let's play some injury variants. Let's go Jalen McMillan. Like if Godwin or Evans get hurt and stuff, then we've already seen the spike week potential.
Cool. Grabbed him. So now we're at 2 quarterbacks. We have Herbert and CJ Stroud. We got the stacks with those. And then, 4 running backs, 6 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Still, again, I think probably don't need to think about tight end for another couple of rounds. There's 2 late ones that I like you said, Mason Taylor. Juwan Johnson, I think, is an interesting one too from the Saints. I mean, he just signed a big contract, going to play a lot. I have no idea what Tyler Shugg is going to be, but he's priced as if he's like the worst quarterback in the league right now. So anything more than that, and you're probably cooking with gas. He could also just like Juwan Johnson. He could stink and just like throwing Juwan Johnson. We have no idea.
All we're doing is touchdown hunting later. So that's all you're doing. And I didn't realize this because again, I'm in my early wee stages of best ball. Do you realize we just built out the mega week 17 LAC versus Houston stack? Apparently they play each other on week 17, and we just kind of luck box this with our lovely build here, Connor.
That's exactly what we dialed up, D-Brian.
We walked into this and knew this already. This game is the total is gonna be 43 and a half, 53 and a half, and it's gonna be fireworks for week 17, dude.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, we're up in 5 picks here. Again, we're pretty even build. Can kind of just go best player available here. We haven't maxed out any positions. I wouldn't be mad at another running back, but I think we're kind of coming to the territory of like Jalen Wright is interesting to me later. I mean, I'm scrolling pretty far down for that. Rico Dowdle's kind of like an injury situation.
I'm fine with running back. There's a bunch of guys I'm willing to take at the very, very last round in our build. So, I mean, I'm talking about I'll take go down a little bit. I'll take Jarquez Hunter. I'll take TJ Gittens. I'll take Taj Brooks, Brashard Smith, especially in a PPR format. I'll take all those guys in the last 2 rounds. So running back, keep punting it. Wide receivers, probably. I honestly think
these guys are going to play. These guys are going to score. We should take Noel if he's there.
I think we take Noel. We take Noel and just lean further into this week 17 correlation, the stack with Stroud, and then we got the Higgins, Noel. Did we get Kirk too? Am I crazy?
No, we
didn't get Kirk. We didn't. Yeah, but we just double stacked CJ Stroud. So now we're hedging against a Kirk injury, which he's proven in the last few years he can't stay on the field. So not a bad thing to do.
Exactly. No, 100%. Another guy that I like late, who I just saw pop on the board here, or I think is interesting, is Pat Bryant.
It's a good call. Very good call.
Broncos drafted him 14 picks after RJ Harvey. Their wide receiver depth chart is Marvin Mims and obviously Sutton, but then Marvin Mims, and then they have 2 other guys that are just
Bailey. Nobody was a full-time player outside of Sutton last year. It was everybody was playing 30 and 40% of the routes per dropback. So it's if Pat Bryant can come in here and just prove, okay, I'm not a gadget player like Marvin Mims last year. I am a full-time wide receiver. Yeah, he's free snaps and routes. Targets.
I'm a little worried it might be a year too early. You might just rotate in with all their bullshit. But
even if that's the case, we get 2 spike week games out of what round are we in, Connor? Even if we get 2 or 3 spike week games out of him, that still pays off the ADP.
Yeah, 15,
but he won't be a difference maker. Yeah. But I mean, that still pays off where he's at. That's all we're basically asking for anyway.
Totally. No, I totally agree. I think we should go here if
yes, we need another tight end. I agree with you.
Yeah, because we're at the point where now we can probably get 1 or 2 more. Maybe, again, Jesus, Stafford's still on the board.
We could take, I'm down with the QB3. We take Stafford and then we build in late Terrence Ferguson.
Yeah, Ferguson or Tutu or anything like that. Both of these I think are great options. Stafford's on the board. We're at pick 174. His ADP is 142. So we're 3 rounds past ADP. I think we should take Stafford here.
Yes, take Stafford.
Yeah. So now we're
plus, dude, with all these we kind of talked about this pre-show before we kind of turned everything on, man. Why are all of these pocket passing quarterbacks going so late? It's everybody's just leaving these guys for dead. It's I love rushing upside just like everybody else, but if one of these guys or multiple one of these guys, because the other thing we've done here is we're making regression bets here. Like all of these guys were below 4% passing touchdown rates, but we know year over year those numbers are not sticky. So like everybody's talking about, oh, the popular thing is, oh, we need to fade Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff because they can't reproduce that. Okay, well, the flip side of that coin is we should be investing in Stafford, Bryce Young, Geno Smith, CJ Stroud to improve their passing touchdown rates because they fell off a freaking table or they've been bad for the last 2 years.
Yep. No, I don't disagree. I also think too, when you look at the draft, so you look at the next available quarterbacks here, Bryce Young, fine. Sam Darnold, fine. Then you're talking about guys who we don't even know who's going to start. Anthony Richardson, it can easily be Daniel Jones. Jackson Dart is probably not going to start until I would say week 4 or 5 at the earliest. Russell Wilson's going to start, but again, only 4 or 5 weeks, which is basically useless in a top-heavy tournament where he lasts till the end. And then Aaron Rodgers, like Rodgers is probably one of my favorites outside of Darnold here because I think just hypothetically, I think he's going to start the whole season for the Steelers. So like you have to make sure you land there. Otherwise you play a real, grimy game here at the end with these quarterbacks.
Gross fast, dude. Gets really gross fast. And for him, as much as fantasy Twitter wants to make Jalen Milroe a thing, he's working with a third team right now. So good luck with that.
Yeah. He's a really bad quarterback, but I think he could be.
He's just not a good passer, dude. It's going to take time for him. So where are we sitting at with the numbers? I guess let's see.
We got 3 quarterbacks. We're good there. We need another tight end probably. We're at
let's go Mason Taylor here.
Yeah, so we got 2 picks away. Ideally, he's still on the board. If we didn't get sniped. Okay, so we'll go Mason Taylor. Now we're at 2 tight ends. And then, so we probably need 1 more of each of these. That's what I would say, at least.
At least, I'd say probably like
2 more running backs, probably.
We have how many picks do we have left? 3,
4. Well, let's hear.
4.
Yeah, we have 7. 4. Yeah, we have 4. So 17, 18, 19, 20. So yeah, we have 4 more. I would say 2 running backs.
Yeah. I'm with you. With the missionary build, basically 2 running backs, wide receiver, and a tight end.
3, 6, 8, 3. Yep, exactly.
I'm with you on that.
Which ones of these running backs do you like? Like are you buying into Dobbins or Chubb, like signing somewhere? Are you buying into?
I don't want the old and decrepit. I want young and has juice. Give me Marshawn Lloyd. Give me Brashard Smith. If we
I like Brashard.
Damn,
Brashard.
People getting lies, dude. Marshawn Lloyd would be at the top. Going down a little bit further. There's some other guys, like is Taj Brooks still down there? Or no, he already get sniped?
Oh no, he's still down there. He's just way down there. Yeah,
he's way down there. Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt's another guy that I like down there. Because if B-Rob goes down, I know it's a PPR site, but again, all 3 of those guys make a ton of sense, man. Like, again, we are so early right now. Like everybody's like, oh, it's Samaje Perine is the RB2, but dude, you want to talk about the washed list? He's washed. Oh, and there Taj Brooks goes because we're getting screen sniped. But I mean, dude, like, can we say Marshawn Lloyd shouldn't even be on the damn board right now? He should be in the handcuffed tier that should have gone like 3 or 4 rounds of like way, way long ago.
Yeah, he just has to stay healthy. Like I don't know, like he like is already injured again. That's my only problem with him. Is he's just like injured again, which I don't understand how that's even possible. But all right, let's just draft him anyways. I mean, again, we're playing for upside. We're playing to win $1 million. I'm not playing to get 5th place in our league. Like I don't care about that.
All right, let's play this out. If he wasn't, if the injury stuff was clear, like and he was healthy right now, where should he go in drafts, Connor?
Well, let's look at the draft board here. So, would you rather have him or like I would say probably somewhere in this tier,
right? Over that Austin Eckler, like to me, he should be in the 120s right there, like right next to Garindo, Benson, Bigsby, and Spears. And out here, he should be in that range, but he's not. He's not.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Yeah, because I don't mind Eckler as just like a PPR, like run RB4 or 5, but like I don't love him. I mean, he's just old, like you said. He's old and boring. All right, so we have got another running back. We can kind of just play best player available here. We talked about Ferguson. We drafted Stafford, right? So
yeah, that could be our tight end. We could go Terrence Ferguson here.
Let's see here. I'm still scrolling.
I'm just pulling up like, okay, so
I think Diami's a good last round pick. It doesn't really match with our
you don't have to like twist my arm. I love Diami. He's going to be, because again, like you get this late, you're just looking for routes and snaps and upside. De'Ami Brown's going to be starting in 3 wide receiver sets. How many of these other guys that are down here could you even say that for? You know?
Yeah, none, basically, almost none. I mean,
yeah, none.
Okay, it looks like so probably top of the board here. We're looking at either T Ferg or De'Ami. Ideally, we get both. Which one do you prioritize? Obviously, T Ferg would be continue with our stack and our third tight end.
Yeah. I think it's well, so what do we have left? So that'd be our tight end 3 go down. We're at how many running backs, how many wide receivers, tight ends? We need what? We're at 5, 7, and 2, right? My mental math.
We're at 5, 7, and 2. Yeah. So we need one more tight
math
end.
is mathing.
Yeah.
I actually kind of think we go with De'Ami here because he's the last guy that I think is an actual starter and we get routes out of. And I know it's at a wide receiver 8, but
right.
I think he is the last kind of viable guy down there as a wide receiver. Do you disagree?
No, let's go with De'Ami, and then it looks like
because if we get sniped, we could also always go Elijah Arroyo. Theo Johnson is another guy that's going to be starting. I'm looking at, or we could just lean into like correlation's sake. Or I mean, we're kind of doing that anyway because if we took because who is Seattle playing? Seattle gets the Rams in week 16, so we could play it out that way. There's a lot of different ways we can go. So
yeah, I mean, hopefully we just survive here and can grab one of T Ferg or Arroyo, and then we're in round 19, so then we'd have one more pick. Probably rounded up with a running back, like you said. I mean, unless there's anyone that we absolutely love or need here, which I don't really think so. I would prefer to go tight end probably.
Same. I agree with you. I think it's tight end and then just see who's left at running back and round it out. I love this team though, Connor. I don't know how you're feeling about it, man.
It's great. No, I love it. It's like we drafted well and we fulfilled all the all the stacking. We have all the priority of like what positions to draft. We balanced it with we didn't go too heavy on we drafted the early tight end. Now we're going too late rookie tight ends. So it's a great balanced team. Like that's all you can really ask for. All right, now we got T Ferg anyway. Perfect. Yeah, look at that.
DraftKings just giveth. I mean that's all that keeps happening in this draft, Connor.
This is and this is what's saying is it's funny because the draft pool is actually going to get easier and weaker as the draft season progresses because eventually DraftKings is going to be doing the thing where they start giving away tickets and stuff. And whenever those happen, just jump into as many drafts as you can as possible because they're giving it to the biggest fish. And so just slam as many as you can and you'll be printing by the season's end. It's as long as you follow the structural rules, stack, have a couple player takes here and there, and you'll be in a really good spot.
Yeah, man, I think the biggest thing is just correlation. You want to make correlated bets because you're decreasing the number of things. We always say this with DFS. You're trying to decrease the number of things that you have to get right. That's all it is.
Yep. 100%.
If we get sniped on, so the other guy that I love down here is I actually think the RB2 for the Jets is going to be Isaiah Davis over Braylon Allen on a per touch basis. He was horrible last year.
Interesting. I mean, Braylon Allen, he definitely stunk. There was some report today saying he was going to be more involved or whatever. It was it wasn't even a report. It was speculation. That's what it was. It was beat reporter speculation saying, the Jets are going to run the ball a lot and Braylon Allen ran the ball a lot last year. So Braylon Allen's going to get more touches this year. That was
I feel like we are. I don't know how you feel about this because I follow all the beat reporters and stuff like that. I really feel like we are getting a little bit out of our skis about anointing some people as beat reporters and using a lot of their conjecture as feeling our best ball, our early best ball, and early redraft takes. It's dude, some of these articles that people are citing, there's nothing from the coaching staff. There's nothing of any substance outside of I'm just pulling shit out of midair, to sit here and hold up some of these damn takes, dude. Let's go JCM.
All right. And that wraps it up. All right. So let's go through the draft again here. We started with Bijan, second round, McConkey. Third round, Devontae Adams. Then we went Kittle, Harvey, Judy, Caleb Johnson, Higgins, Harris, Herbert, Javonte Williams, CJ Stroud completing our, second stack, McMillan, Noel, and then Stafford completing another stack here with Adams. And then we added T. Ferg later. Then we have Mason Taylor as our third tight end, Marshawn Lloyd, De'Ami Brown, and Krosky Merritt.
We got some nice little like correlations too, like Mason Taylor and De'Ami for week 15, like kind of just sifting through things here, dude. I love this team.
Dude, yeah, this is a good team. I'm going to write it down, make sure we can, follow it. I'll be providing, updates throughout the entire draft or throughout the entire season, as we inch closer to winning the $2 million. I think it's perfect.
I was gonna say, so you're paying all the taxes on the $2 million, right? Like, and I just keep
we're gonna have
that's something we didn't really work out in the fine print, Connor.
We're gonna have DraftKings pay the taxes for us just because we are we're partners, so it's like
contact your local DK rep.
Exactly. I don't know if there's any best ball accountants. It might be a little premature for us to get to the best ball accountant stage already, but no, I love it, man. That's awesome, and I appreciate you hopping on here. All right, before you leave, you got one last question here. Mm-hmm. I want to hear your hottest fantasy football or NFL take for the upcoming season. It can be anything. It can be a win total. It could be player,
Lord.
Is awesome or terrible. It can be anything. You're not held responsible for it. So I'm not going to clip this section. Well, that's a lie. I might clip this section. But
I was like, that's a lie. You might do that.
But okay, I won't clip this section, but what's your hot take here to end the show?
Ooh, how scorching do you want me to get with this?
It can be, preface it with how hot you think it is. I don't care. It can be, lukewarm. Okay. It can be, we're all burning up inside. It's over.
I'll go with one that I made a few weeks ago. I tweeted it out. So, receipts and the trolls will come for me. I definitively believe that if Michael Penix can be that guy, Drake London can be the wide receiver 1 overall this year. All the parts or pieces are there, dude. You look at, because you need the red zone usage. The dude is top 5 in red zone targets. You need the not only the volume, who the heck else in that passing attack is going to threaten him for a 30 to 32% target share? I mean, hell, with Penix under center, he got higher than that. And I know, again, small sample size picking, but the thing with London is the volume is there, the talent is there, the usage is there. The only thing we need to get out of Michael Penix is just competent quarterback play, because the part of Drake London's game that also didn't get unlocked last year because of Kirk Cousins and his noodle arm is the downfield stuff. So, like, did he prove last year he can be a high volume guy and catch over 100 balls? Yes. Could that number go up to he catches 110, 115 balls and he gets into the 12 to 14 touchdown range? Then we're discussing a guy that is possibly going, where he's going in drafts. He's the wide receiver 10 on DK right now. If he hits that, he's going to be one of the best picks you could possibly make. If he truly ends the year where he is competing with Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, or CeeDee Lamb for the wide receiver 1 overall this year. And I think it could definitely happen, dude.
Love it. Yeah, that's hot, but not too hot. I very much agree. I'm taking him in the mid-second round a lot. I think he went a pick before us this time. We probably would have picked him. Otherwise, I'm just gone with a full Falcon stack. Last year with Michael Penix, week 16-18, 39% target share, 12.7 yard ADOT. To the moon. It's going to be great. So anyways, Derek, appreciate you coming on here. Thanks for your time. Tell the people where they can find you and any upcoming work or anything you have coming up.
Yeah, dude. All the things and stuff's at FantasyPros. I'm on the Dynasty podcast, on the main podcast. We're recording later this week talking about breakout wide receivers of Matt Harmon. So, people subscribing to the YouTube channel. If you're here and you're on 444 watching both of us, you're loving the content. But all my work is at FantasyPros. I just wrapped up my top 5 Dynasty Startup Value Series for all positions. I'm starting on the redraft stuff. So I'm getting into the weeds before week 1. And as we go through the summer, I'm going to continually keep building out the player list. So before week 1, I will have my top 150 live on fantasypros.com. So 150 fantasy players, fantasy options, all written up on the site. I might get to 180 this year. We'll see how it goes, Connor. Wow. But it's all good stuff at Fantasy Pros, man.
That's heat. Love it. I absolutely love it. And as a reminder, don't miss out. DraftKings running a promo right now. Draft one, get one. So literally draft exactly what we did $20, and then you get a free one the next time right after to play for your share of $15 million. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. And I will be back next Tuesday with another awesome guest. Thank you so much.